All right, what is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It is Phil Nagy on Sports here. It is our Week 8 game of the week. We have the 4-2 Las Vegas Raiders heading into Miami. We've seen Miami a couple of times, but they are awfully exciting. Jimmy G, the quarterback there, Devontae Adams, of course, some of the defensive stars on this team. So, long trip across the country for the Raiders here to Hard Rock Stadium. But again, they are 4-2. And actually in front of the Kansas City Chiefs, who we saw in Week 7 go down to the Cincinnati Bengals. So in the catbird seat a little bit there in the AFC West, and if they can get another big win here, that would be a good one for them. I am actually on vacation currently, hopefully doing something very fun, but through the power of technology and the internet, Kit's actually going to call this one for you guys. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers. You guys are the best. Sorry you didn't get a chance to vote on these Week 8 games. I needed to get them in the can before you had a chance to vote on them. So, again, hope everybody's doing well, and I will be back at the end of the week, and we will continue on with the sim. For now, enjoy this AFC game of the week, and I'll kick it on over to Kit. Take it away, Kit.
Yeah, appreciate that, Phil. Thank you. Welcome in, Nagy Nation. Kit Nagy here. Excited to bring you this AFC Spotlight game of the week. The Raiders and the Dolphins going head-to-head here in Miami. So it should be a fun game. And welcome in, Mitchell. Glad to have you. And we'll get this one kicked off here with Miami to have the ball first. So we're going to take a look at Tua coming out on the field now. Of course, the concerns with him, all those concussions last year, we saw that really ugly picture of him. That so far in this season, 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, nearly 2,000 yards on his season through 7 weeks. Here in Week 8, looking to build on that. He's going to start out at his own 26. First and 10 out of the gun, empty backfield. Pressure coming and now unloading downfield and misses his mark. Hey, Karen, welcome in. Go Browns, Cavs, and Guardians. I set now, faking the handoff is Tua. Tua now scrambling out to the left side, now throwing across back across his body, missing his intended target. As that is now 0 for 2 for Tua, and 3rd and 10. Tua now working in the pocket, now downfield. He's got a man down there. That's not going to be complete, trying for Waddle downfield. And a 4th and 10 and a very early 3-and-out with no yardage for the Dolphins as Tua was 0 for 3 in his opening set of downs. So Jimmy G is going to come out on the field now. He's going to take over for the Raiders after the punt. And the Raiders looking to put together a drive of their own here, as there's a look at Jimmy G's season stats. 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A nice stat line for him, as they've been very good, as Phil mentioned, in the West. The Raiders have this one a handoff there. And some yardage for Jacobs, just 2. Hey, applied, welcome in, go Browns. Single back is Jacobs. Jimmy G throws it out to his right side. He's got Hunter Renfrow out there. And a 4-yard pickup. 3rd and 5 coming. Now, bad throw, picked. He's going to go. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. And some early fireworks provided by the defense for the Miami Dolphins. Xavier Howard, who else? A big pick 6 right in front of the route. Jimmy G got baited as Xavier Howard stepped right in front of that one and took it to the house. The Dolphins with the early fireworks to score a pick 6. And although the offense got 0 yards, they are up 7-0 with no offensive stats whatsoever outside of the 3 incompletions for Tua. So they're going to hand it right back to Jimmy G and these Raiders, and they're going to try to have a better drive here. Back to the old Ted Lasso, mind like a goldfish. Shortest memory span. Got to flush that one and move on for Jimmy G. If you're Jimmy G, this one a nice hole up the middle for Jacobs. Jacobs has all kinds of room with to work with, and he gets a first down there. That's funny, Mitchell. Yeah, that would have been entertaining. I don't know if entertaining is the right word. It would have been really something had that happened. Now a tight bunch formation off to his left side. Jimmy G with the snap. Garoppolo downfield. He's got it complete. There's Adams, his first touch of the ball game. 6 yards on the pickup, and now a handoff to Jacobs. Jacobs not allowed. Oh, manages to break off of a tackle and gain a few extra yards. I thought he was going to be down there, but he kind of had his momentum stopped, but then managed to get some extra yards in spite of it. Now another hand up right up the middle. He's got the first down. Closing in on midfield are these Raiders. Now on their own 47-yard line. And Jacobs has been a big part of that. Obviously, Garoppolo struggled early, but they've elected to hand it off more frequently, trusting to Jacobs to tote the rock. And that has worked out, at least so far in this drive. Just the one pass to Adams. And there's another handoff. Speak of the devil. Jacobs now with 5 rushes for 27 yards. That one for 9. Jacobs again. So the Raiders very comfortable with handing the ball off and trusting to their stalwart back to get them some yards, but Garoppolo now in the gun. We'll see if he elects to pass here. And he does. To throw. Garoppolo over the middle. He's got it complete to his tight end. Nice throw to his right side. He's now 3 of 4. Of course, that one incompletion, if you will, was actually a pick 6, which went the wrong way. But Garoppolo seems to have his stride back, as that was a nice throw downfield. And he's back in the gun. And he is going to throw again, this time over the middle. He's got it complete. 29 yards and 1 pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. That one complete to Myers. Oh, pressure coming. He's going to get sacked. Just a delayed blitz from the linebacker long. He got in there. You see him come up on the outside work. He went through the B gap and snuck in through the protection. And Jimmy G couldn't do anything about it. Ooh, the biggest mistake the Browns ever made? That's tough. As a nice throw downfield there. He found Hunter Renfrow in some space in that little skinny post. And that's going to get them first and goal. I know this is more recent, but I'm still pretty... There's a couple of recent ones that really rubbed me the wrong way. But I think the drafting of one Johnny Manziel or Johnny Football, that is one of the most mind-boggling mistakes that the Browns, to me, I mean, this just was an obvious non-starter for me, and they went and did it anyway. I think he's back, Karen, talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, whether or not he's back from his injury. I think I read about him being mostly back from his injury, but I don't know that's... I know there were some oddities with his contract, like the Raiders are not so sure that he's going to, even play a down for them, or could potentially... they've got an out, basically, on his contract, where if he permanently... cripples himself, which is a possibility, as that one's going to be picked in the end zone. And just like that, Jimmy G's got 2 interceptions on his stat sheet today. That one prevents a potential touchdown. It was the pressure that got in there, and then Smith, Johnny on the spot, able to find the ball in the traffic And another big mistake for Jimmy G. And Tua's going to have a nice drive here, or going to get an opportunity here after the touchback as they took a knee in the end zone. Smart move by Smith. But that for me is one of the larger mistakes. Certainly, I mean, just was I was physically angry is the best way to describe it when they drafted Johnny Manziel. As pressure coming, Crosby couldn't quite get there, and then complete downfield. Yeah, welcome in, Rick. That certainly you could view that as a big mistake. I mean, I don't see that as much as a mistake, just because I don't know that anybody really understood what Mahomes was going to be at this level. And the other part of that, as talented as he is, there's something to be said about bringing a quarterback into the wrong system at the wrong time, where if they get off to the wrong start, Mahomes was kind of protected in that position. If you remember, Smith was there, right? There's a nice run out here. That was nifty. Mostert for 12. That's a 2020 kind of thing, like the hindsight. But I don't know in the moment that anybody could really have been that upset with passing. And I don't think anybody really knew what Mahomes was going to be. And then the other part of that is, does Mahomes become who he is now if he was drafted in that position by the Browns? I don't know. Because there is something to be said for organizations, starting guys too early, or a lot of other situations that can ruin a quarterback early in their career. So I don't know that would have happened with Mahomes or not. He certainly has the talent. He's been incredible, but he also had a much better situation there in Kansas City. A much better run organization and a lot more stability around him. 3rd and 2, but that was at that time. I think that has changed in Cleveland. And I think it's very different now, is that there's going to be a penalty down. A hold is going to negate the first down. That one on Wynn. And yeah, I think Kansas City had an inkling of what they were getting in Mahomes, but I think their scouting department also was on point in that respect. Yeah. Remember, what is it, a third round pick? I think, or no, was he in the first? I don't remember. I have to look. I know they traded up to get him, but I can't remember. I may be confusing him with somebody else. He was... pick number 10. Yeah, he was first round pick number 10. But, an excellent scouting department is also part of a winning organization, which I think Kansas City has been kind of in that mode for a while now. And the Browns are just now kind of converting to that. I think they finally might actually be there, but we'll see. That's going to depend, or our season will tell us a lot about where this organization is. If they really can be as good as we all think they can and should be. Hey, welcome in, Wendell. Now at midfield are the Raiders. 3:05 less in the first quarter. Garoppolo to pass down to the left side. He's got it complete. Nice little strike downfield. And he found Myers down there. So, but I'm sure you could point to a lot of things as the biggest mistake in Browns history. Giving some of the coaching hires that they've made along the way have been, and even front office hires they've had along the way have been a little suspect, to say the least. They've had a lot of things that have not been great. A lot of things you could point to, but certainly hard to choose the biggest in history. Hey, Don, welcome in. No, it's not the Browns bye week. Actually, the Browns have a huge matchup. It's the 4-3 Browns versus the 5-2 Ravens. Ravens coming off of an upset to the Steelers that made them 3-4 here after going into Week 8. But that was their Week 7 matchup. But the Browns have yet to play in Week 8, and that was just a product of the fact that Phil has been on vacation this whole time. He banked the Spotlight Games of the Week for me to call while he was on vacation. I'm headed out tomorrow myself, out of town, so he'll be calling the Week 8 Browns game sometime after he gets back on Sunday. So it's still to come. Big matchup. In the north is a big sack here of Tua. Right up the middle, a little delayed blitz gets there, and Crosby meets him as Diablo gets in there. Nice delayed blitz to get home. But Phil will bring the huge matchup. I might be able to get on the chat for that call, but I'll be likely in Seattle at the time. Depending on when his schedule permits, running that game. But no, not on bye. Just we inverted our normal order. Instead of doing the Browns and then the Spotlight games, we had done that the previous week, so it ended up being Browns game, two spotlights, and then Browns game for Week 7 going into Week 8. That's why it feels like a bye week, but it's not actually a bye week. Now empty backfield there for Tua, firing over the middle. And he's got it complete now, 7 of 10. That one's not going to be enough, though. And he is going to have to probably punt from there, you'd imagine. They are going to punt on 4th and 3. Why do you say that there, Don? My whole family lives up in Seattle, so I actually really like it up there. It's really nice. And I won't actually be in Seattle, not downtown. Actually, I will spend a little bit of time in downtown Seattle. That's where my younger brother lives. I'm going to spend the day on the 24th with him. We have a tradition of watching the new Wes Andersons together when they come out. And since the new Wes Anderson came out recently on the 16th, and it just so happened I was going to be there, we couldn't, stray from the tradition. So have a plan to go check that out with him. We're going to have brunch and then go check out a matinee of the new Wes Anderson. Yeah, that's pretty much what Fellegren said too, Rick. We will get the Browns game, I promise. It's coming. As the unloading downfield, it just broken up. Adams had a beat on it. I thought for a minute that Devontae was going to make a circus catch, but it was knocked out of his hands, and so the Raiders are going to go 3 and out and punt here. But yeah, that's exactly what Fellegren said, needing the Browns fix. We will get you a game just as soon as we can here for the Browns. It is a massive matchup. Like I said, a 5-2 Ravens team coming off of an upset to the Steelers to play our 4-3 Browns. So certainly a big matchup here in Week 8, and we will have that here for you just as soon as Phil's schedule allows for it. And then we'll look at it. I would imagine it's probably what will probably end up happening is you'll end up with back-to-back Browns games, assuming Week 9 isn't our bye. I don't know where the bye is, but it's very possible you'll end up with back-to-back Browns games as a result, and then back to the spotlight after that because of the way this all worked out. And yes, this one is not as much for me a vacation. I mean, there's a little bit of vacation aspect to it, but this one was more so for the purposes of getting my daughter out to her summer camp. So this one I had an actual need to go out of town here to make that happen. But, obviously we will do our best to make sure that we bring as much content to the channel in the interim as we can. Of course, we are a Browns focused channel, so that means the bulk of what we try to do is focusing on the Browns, of course. Yeah, it depends on where you go, Don. There's no doubt that there are some aspects that are... is that one a nasty sacked? Max Crosby gets home, and just backing up. That was reminiscent of the old shuffle sacks, as he was just kind of shuffling backwards and continued to see shuffle, and then running backwards, and then finally Max Crosby wasn't going to let that stand for too long. It is a beautiful area, though, and yes, you're right. There are parts that are certainly more dangerous. Depends on where you go, but you're right. There is a little bit more of that element these days with some of the policies that have gone on out there. But yeah, I won't be spending as much time in those kind of environs. The one day in downtown to go check out the matinee that I mentioned and brunch, and then I'll have most of the time will actually be across the Sound over in the Gig Harbor area, and actually not even in Gig Harbor. It's like the countryside outside of Gig Harbor. My brother owns 10 acres out there, built a house kind of thing, so it's really nice out there too. So, but the not so dangerous out there where he's at. Jacobs, the ball carrier, he's going to pick up just 2. 10:44 here, left in the half. 3rd and 8 for the Raiders. Now, firing over the middle, got it complete. And that is going to be, I think, he looks like it's just enough for a first down here. Nice extension to bring that ball in. The Raiders have a first down. Garoppolo, he's got it complete to Jacobs. So breaking a tackle along the sideline. Looked like his progress was stopped, but he just kind of shrugged it off and got free up the sideline there a bit. Now another handoff, but not much doing there for White. His first carry of the ball game goes for just 1 yard. Yeah, I've actually gone and seen the Redwoods. I've been out there a couple times, Wendell. They are impressive, to be sure. It's definitely beautiful. I've been to a couple different areas out there to see the Redwoods. I'm actually within reach of Sequoia from here. And then if you go further up north in Cali, some of the areas up in there are very impressive. Complete over the middle. And Hunter Renfrow is going to pick up 6. Now out to midfield are the Raiders on this drive, 7:55 and counting. Here in the second quarter, Abdullah works off the left side for a few yards and will bring up a 3rd and 2. This one just thrown away. So it looks like the drive that was looking pretty good for a bit there is just going to kind of peter out after the Raiders not able to convert it on 3rd and 2, and so they're going to punt. And not the best punt. He put it out at the 18. I mean, better than going into the end zone, I suppose, but only by 2 yards. So Tua's got the ball again, starting at the 18. Bunch formation out to his right. Back to pass. Now over the middle, he's got a wide open Waddle. All kinds of space there underneath, but quickly closed upon, and he's going to pick up 7. That's his 2nd reception of the ball game. Hey, Sean, welcome in. Go Browns. Yeah, I've heard rumblings about that, Wendell. That would be kind of ironic and funny if that happened, but yeah, I think there's no love lost there, that's for sure. Quick handoff. Does get enough for the first down. That was Mostert. He's only carried the ball 3 times for 18 yards, but that one good for a first down. 1st and 10. Faking the handoff. Now Tua, lots of time. Finally does go downfield and out of bounds. I think he actually threw that one away. All right, Sean's got the Raiders. I think that's the first time we've seen Tyreek Hill. Of course, he was in the news recently. Just last Sunday, charged. I think they're charging him with domestic abuse or assault or something. Or, I don't remember, something along those lines. So certainly more smoke around all of that and his off-field issues, as he doesn't seem to be able to, keep his nose clean when not playing. He's big fumble. Speaking of Tyreek, he fumbled the ball but went out of bounds. Jarred loose as he was going to the ground, but he was fortunate it just went right out of bounds instead. But, yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to keep his nose clean. Very, very gifted, talented player, but has some apparent issues off-field that seem to keep coming back. And certainly not, I'm sure, what the Dolphins are hoping for. 2nd and 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard pickup. Handoff goes to Mostert. Nice little move there. Makes the guy miss. What a play that was. Just shifty in the hole. And then freezes. Does a little freeze frame for the camera there as he froze running back to the sideline. That was interesting. Tua now under center. Mostert the lone back. Tua to pass. He's going to swing it out to Mostert. Mostert switches hands and gets it on the outside. 2-yard pickup on the little swing pass. Tua. There's Tyreek again. Working underneath. He's going to pick up a handful. Call it 6 yards there. Now handoff to Mostert. Big hole to work with. Breaks the tackle. Not Mostert, excuse me. That was Wilson on the rush. A 14-yard pickup. A big hole for him to work with. And Wilson does some nice work there, getting loose in some space. Yeah, no, that's true, Wendell. They definitely did have a heated rivalry between these two teams. Certainly some interesting history there. 1st and goal now from the 7. And we're going to take us to the 2-minute warning here. Miami threatening as they are up 7-3 in what has been mostly a quiet game. But Tua with the opportunity out of the empty set from the gun. Throw to the end zone, out of the back. 2nd and goal. Now a little pistol ace look. As Tua throws to the corner, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 1. Thought for a second he might stretch and score there. But 3rd and goal from the 1. Out of the gun. Tua to pass. Doesn't like what he sees. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Tyreek Hill, and he does a backflip in typical Tyreek fashion. And a big score to close out the half here for the Dolphins, as they're going to take a 14-3 lead pending this PAT. The pick is up and it's good. So 14-3 is the scoreline, although they left time here in the half for the Raiders to get some for themselves. Opportunity here with 1:49 and all 3 timeouts. Let's see what Jimmy G can do. as he's going to have the ball starting at his own 24. So, some work ahead of him. 1:45 to work with. 74 yards, the charge. And he's got to do it with 3 timeouts and 1:45. Garoppolo over the middle. He's got it complete. And Myers with a nice 9.5 yards. This one attempted to the outside for Jacobs, but 3rd and inches instead. Now emptying out the backfield on a 3rd and inches here, spreading them out wide. Garoppolo got it complete to the outside just enough and out of bounds to preserve the clock. Nicely drawn up there on 3rd and inches. Get the ball out past the line to gain and get them out of bounds to stop the clock. Preserve those timeouts. 1:20 to work with. 1st and 10. All 3 timeouts still remaining. Trips to his left. Garoppolo over the middle, goes underneath. He's got Jacobs, his outlet. 4 yards pickup. They're going to hurry up to the line and closing in on a minute. Fakes the handoff. Now going downfield to the sideline. Did he get it? He did not. 3rd and 6. He was out of bounds. Does stop the clock. Still all 3 timeouts. 58 seconds. Garoppolo going downfield. He's got a man. They're either going to have to hurry up or take a timeout. They do take a timeout. Probably a good spot to take one there. 1st and 10. Now at midfield. 53 ticks left. Empty backfield. Garoppolo downfield to the sideline and picked! Another pick for Jimmy Garoppolo as this one's going to go. A second pick 6 for the Dolphins. 10-5 touchdown. Back to back. This time Jalen Ramsey with the pick, and he takes that one to the house as well. A pair of picks. One for Xavier Howard, one for Jalen Ramsey. The corners getting in the action in a big way here and scoring a huge for these Dolphins. 14 of the 21 points, all due to these defensive corners for the Dolphins on pick sixes. And that's the 3rd interception for Jimmy Garoppolo. He had thrown one. Well, his first one was the pick 6 to Xavier Howard. His second one was a throw to the end zone. He was in the red zone, threw it to the end zone, and to the wrong team. So that killed the drive. It gave the the Dolphins the ball back. And then this last one, an absolute killer, trying to get back on the scoreboard to close out the half. And Jimmy G throws an ugly pick to go the distance. Yes, wow indeed. The Deion Sanders imitation, exactly. Gotta love seeing Prime come out on the field every now and then. Good stuff. 3rd and 2. Garoppolo. 26 ticks left. He's gonna air it deep. And that one goes to nobody. And interestingly, the Dolphin defender was closer to the ball than his receiver was, so it does appear that Garoppolo is a bit rattled here in this game, as he has been a bit errant with his balls downfield. Hey, 42 Norris, welcome in. Yeah, you know, I understand being on the fence for Garoppolo. He flashes, and certainly he can get you. You know, he can get you to big games. I mean, he got the 49ers to a lot of big games. NFC championships and the like, but he just couldn't get all the way and win it, which seemed to be the knock on him. And then he's one of those, like, he's a great game manager. He can be a rhythm guy that can consistently get the ball downfield, but he's also a guy that, like, when he's off, he just seems to be off. He can be he's odd, where he's like, he can be very consistent, and then the next moment you feel like he's completely inconsistent. He's a bizarre talent. This one is complete. Myers, he breaks the tackle out past the 50. A big play to start the half for the Raiders, and they're going to need it in a 21-3 hole. But yeah, I understand being on the fence on Garoppolo. I think the Raiders are on the fence on Garoppolo. They're not convinced that his injury is not going to be debilitating for life, and they've got it built into the contract for him that they're not going to be held liable for that, not going to be on the hook. He won't even be a Raider if that happens. So a very interesting thing to come out about his contract, and so I don't know that they're even convinced he's going to play for them. Garoppolo over the middle, and that one is going to be picked, the 4th pick of the ball game, and this one possibly could go. Let's see if he's got a chance. Jacobs does bring him down. Oh my. Oh my. Just like that, we were talking about Garoppolo being inconsistent, and sure enough, this game has him absolutely rattled, as this time Baker gets in the way of a pass and takes it going the other way, nearly gets in himself. All right, Mitchell, take care. We'll talk to you later. I appreciate you being on, though. Tua to pass. Now airing it deep. He's going to go out the back of the end zone. Yeah, right. Better hope that doesn't happen. This has been absolutely pitiful for Garoppolo. He has been bad. Quite bad. 4 picks. 2 of them pick sixes. The 4th one we just saw, nearly a pick 6, setting up the Dolphins with great position to score here. 3rd and 4 coming for them. Tua to pass, all kinds of time. Now elects to go underneath to Waddle, but plenty for a first down. And now they're going to have 1st and goal from the 9. Tua to pass. He's going underneath again. He's got it complete. 2nd and goal now from the 5. That was A-Chain on the reception. He might be. I'm not entirely sure, Karen. He might be. 3rd and goal. Tua to the end zone, and just actually short of the end zone, but was knocked away. And a 4th and goal will bring out the kicking unit. So the Raiders are going to dodge a bullet here after what might have been a pick 6 saved by Josh Jacobs with that timely tackle. And then the defense managing to come up with a stop to force a field goal. So minimizing the damage after the 4th Garoppolo pick. That defense has got to be tired. But they manage. And Garoppolo, Mr. Inconsistent himself, comes back out on the field, as he has been all kinds of hot and cold in this game. But mostly on the cold side with those ugly throws to the wrong team. Garoppolo under center, high formation. Fakes the handoff to Jacobs. Now going to air it deep. And out of bounds. I think he's gun shy. Doesn't seem to want to take risks. It's not surprising. He's turned it over 4 times all by himself. Oh! Why not? 5. Xavier Howard with his 2nd pick of the ball game. That one doesn't go for 6, but still. Garoppolo throws it to the wrong colored jersey once again. And when it rains, it pours. What an athletic ground. I mean, just look at this play. Howard just leaping to go and get that one. That was fun. Wendell not willing to show Raiders any love here. They have been admittedly pretty bad in this game, as the Dolphins have been absolutely having their way, especially that Dolphins defense. As Mostert throws a tackler down, but then is not going to go anywhere, ends up a TFL anyway. Second and 11. Tua Setting up the screen, and I mean, it's incomplete, so that's probably the best outcome you could hope for there. They rarely ever work. 3rd and 11. Tua. He's going to go underneath, and that's going to end up short of the line to gain. So they'll probably set up for a long field goal here, knowing how things tend to go in this spot on the field. And they do. A 55-yard field goal attempt incoming. The kick is up. The kick is good. So lead now stretches to 27-3 as these Dolphins are absolutely dominating this ball game. But, you know, with 5 interceptions, it would be hard not to be, especially when 2 of those were for touchdowns. It's possible. We'll see. We'll see if that happens, Karen, if he sets a record for turnovers. But he's well on his way with 5 already in this one. And he's clearly rattled in the game as he can't seem to get out of his own way. An abysmal 20 of 36 with 5 picks. Woof. Oh, make it 6, and that's... Oh, he went the wrong way. I was going to say that should have been 6. He was absolutely headed to the end zone if he doesn't cut back towards the pursuit there. That was Smith on that pick. I mean, I don't even know what he's looking at. That was just an abysmal throw. He wasn't even throwing to a spot in place. He just, I think he, I mean... I don't know if he's white-blue colorblind. Is that a thing? I don't think it is. But yeah, he's struggling to throw it to his team. And it's not like he played for Miami or anything. You know, there's none of that confusion going on. But that looked like the defender ran the route for the offense there, and Jimmy G just threw it right to him. No, Wendell, this is pre-recorded. I can't do anything. I don't even have access to the PlayStation. The PlayStation that this game was simmed on is back in Ohio, and it was pre-recorded for me to call. I hadn't seen the outcome of this game, so I have no idea what happens, which is why it's all new to me, just like it's all new to you. But this was all done prior to Phil leaving on vacation, and in fact, that's why it was done this way, is because he went on vacation. So he pre-recorded a number of games for me to be able to call while he was gone, so that we'd have content to put up on the channel while he was not there to do it. So no, in short, Wendell, unfortunately I can make no roster changes. 1st and goal. Tua hands it off. Mostert looking for some space. Not a lot there. 8 rushes now for him, 30 yards. Bit of a pedestrian day. But he hasn't had to be that special, as the defense has done most of the heavy lifting in this one. Now chased is Tua, and he's going to go down. Big sack. That one for Wilson. A 3rd and goal from the 17 now. Tua over the middle. Wide open underneath. That's Waddle. But not enough for the not enough for the touchdown. He's going to get stopped short of the line to get, or the end zone. And a 4th and goal from the 4. So they're going to kick another field goal. So that's 3 field goals in a row. But it doesn't much matter when the other team, the opposing quarterback seems to want to throw to your defense more than he wants to throw to his own receivers. And so the scoreline in this blowout is now 30-3. Yeah, you missed some here, Sean, as we are now up to 5 interceptions for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to come back out here. I believe 3 of his last 4 drives have ended in picks. It's not been good. It's been quite ugly. As we have We have witnessed the coming apart of one Jimmy Garoppolo. He has been quite bad. All right, he might be to 6. Did I miss one? He might be at 6 picks. I think he's at 6 picks. That one goes to his own team. Yeah, 6 interceptions. 21 of 38, 175, 6 interceptions. Woof. Woof. That one to his outlet. That's Jacobs along the sideline there. Yeah, the quick release. That's right. But yes, in real life, I would expect the quarterback change after 6 interceptions is a likely thing in an NFL football game. You're not going to leave a guy out there to have his confidence absolutely shattered for eternity as he's going to turn the ball over for a 7th time with a fumble. Really, not another one, but that one's going to be another defensive touchdown. This time, Jalen Phillips gets in as he picked up the strip sack fumble. Garoppolo cannot get out of his own way. He's got 7 turnovers all to his own name, 3 of them ending in scores for the Dolphins. And that's just ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. As this blowout has been abysmal. And ironically, the Dolphins' offense has not been that great. They've been okay. We've seen Waddle. Tyreek Hill has been a little understated in this one. We've seen some okay things from Mostert. I mean, it's not been anything terribly impressive on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of drives ending in field goals. But man, when your defense has 3 touchdowns, you don't need your offense to be that good. When the quarterback of the opposing team by himself turns the ball over 7 times with 3 defensive scores, you can be very, very pedestrian and blow out another team in the NFL. If that is really how it's going to go. As Garoppolo is going to pass. Scary things with him with the ball in his hand. That one nearly complete to Adams. Devontae Adams not able to hang on to it. At least it went to the right team. Betting on Dolphins. Oh no. I hope not. As pressure gets home to Garoppolo, forces a throw out of bounds. 3rd and 10. Emptying out the backfield again. He's going to air it deep. And he's got it complete! Somehow he got it to his man. That's Myers down to the sideline. And Garoppolo actually does something. That wasn't a turnover. Garoppolo now to the 20-yard line here. Still in the 3rd quarter somehow in this ball game. Feels like it should be over at 37-3, but still have an entire quarter of play. Plus a minute and 40. So, if you're just joining us, very much appreciate you being here with us at Nagy on Sports. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, we'd very much appreciate that. Also appreciate the likes on our videos, as those help to get these videos out to more great viewers like yourself. If you haven't had a chance to join us on our Discord, there's a link to that in the description of this or any of our videos. That gives you an opportunity to vote on games of the week. Also, share your thoughts on the Browns, the NFL, and everything in between. Also gives you an opportunity to find out when we're going to go live on the Discord with a little bit more reliable notification system through the Discord. Tell you in advance when to expect the games, so you can be here with us live, which doesn't include any commercials. We appreciate everybody who does manage to get in live. It's fun to have the interaction here. As the Raiders might actually get into the end zone, they do. A consolation score for them. As even though we're about to enter the fourth quarter and there's an entire quarter yet to play, This one feels pretty well over at 37-10. And Garoppolo, as turnover prone as he's been, he now has 7. 1 strip sack fumble for a touchdown, 2 pick sixes, and the rest just your garden variety pick. Yes, no interception on that drive for once, Wendell. A drive not ending in a turnover, a defensive score, a pick, a fumble, any of those bad outcomes. A lot of those had happened of late, but finally one that ends it in a touchdown for the Raiders. Yeah, we'll probably preview the Hall of Fame game, Wendell. I'd assume that's a likely thing you could look forward to. Good, Mitchell. Glad you appreciate it. We enjoy having you here to chat with us. Again, you get it without without having to deal with the commercials now that we've monetized. So being here live is more fun for us and hopefully more fun for you as well. And then gets an opportunity to actually chat about the game as we watch it live. In a game like this where it's almost hard to call because the game is so bad, it's actually fun to have that interaction and chat. Keeps things interesting in spite of a game that is just about anything but. So appreciate you being willing to hang around with me here as we are watching the decimation of the Las Vegas Raiders at the hands of the defense for the Miami's Dolphins, as Garoppolo has been the culprit of that decimation. He has been the one that has led to all of those turnovers. Although I suppose it wasn't actually a turnover. We did have a one other near turnover in this ball game that was not Garoppolo. It was Tyreek Hill who fumbled it, but it fumbled out of bounds. Garoppolo complete over the middle. They're still, looking like they think they can get back into this game, setting up, spreading them out wide, trusting it to the hands of Garoppolo. Obviously, that worked for them this last drive. But I don't know. Maybe they think he's got his confidence back. I suppose time will tell. Of course, he was errant on that throw. It ended up on the ground this time, which is, a step up from throwing it to the wrong team. 3rd and 4. Now going underneath, he's got it to Myers. And a whole lot of empty sets here for the Raiders. Garoppolo alone and unafraid in the backfield, and Miami's just straight up in a prevent. They're only putting 3 linemen up at the line of scrimmage, as they don't feel like they have to do anything much more on defense here. They're just gonna kind of let the Raiders have the underneath stuff and ticky-tack their way down the field, because they know they've got a massive advantage with their 27-point score lead here. Big pressure up the middle is going to end up in a sack. 3 rushers is plenty in that case. I don't know how Phillips came so free here. Let's take a look. Nobody blocked him. What was that? Nobody even touches Phillips. They have 3 linemen, a defensive lineman, 5 offensive linemen, 2 guys that got split by Phillips without putting a single hand on him. I don't know what that protection was, but throw it out. That was terrible. You gotta, at least block the guys in front of you. I mean, don't just let them go. They weren't even trying to set up a screen. That was horrible. 1st and 10. Garoppolo, now scrambling, now throwing it away. Yeah, actually 2 people blew their blocking assignment, because obviously if you've got 2 blockers not blocking anybody, what's 66 doing in that spot? He was just standing there squatting. That was odd. But yeah, two unused blockers with nobody to block. I mean, maybe it's a miscommunication error between the 2 of them as to who is going to pick them up, but it's a 3-man rush. There are 5 offensive linemen, as yet another sack here. And Garoppolo, when he's not turning the ball over, seems to be getting sacked all the time now. And this defense continues with their impressive day. This Miami's Dolphins defense has been absolutely fantastic in this game. Now going towards the end zone. Oh, nearly picked, and then the tip drill reception for Davante Adams. That probably should have been picked first. And I'm not sure what happened, but Davante Adams ends up with the ball, as I thought for sure that Jalen Ramsey was going to come away with this. Jalen Ramsey goes up, tips it to himself, and then doesn't come up with a pick, and then it ends up in Davante Adams' hands after all of that. But it was a turnover on downs anyway, so it didn't really matter. And Mercer works out to the right side. Second and 4. Now a heavy set off to his left side. Tua hands it off. Mostert covering up the ball with both hands. They are very comfortably into chew clock, as they should be. 8:41 left in this ball game, a 27-point lead. And nothing but clock to chew left on the to-do list. To and out of the gun. Yeah, right. It just would fit into the tone of this game for that to have been ruled a pick, Don. You're right. It was merely a turnover on downs, but it did have that same kind of a feel, although it arguably should have been a pick. Now it ended up with the same result, regardless of how it got there. But it probably should have been a pick. Jalen Ramsey did a really nice job tipping it to himself, but then he just couldn't handle the softball, as it was like, you know, the little tip drill that he practices all the time. It was right to himself. And he just ended up tipping it again, and Davante Adams ended up with it in his hands. No. That is a company I am not fond of, Disney specifically. I don't like them very much. I think they are a bit of an evil empire, personally. So, there's a big gaping hole there for Mostert. He's going to have a first down, and the clock chewing continues for the Dolphins. Well-deserved clock chewing. Glad they're in that mode. But I'm little bit really not a fan of Disney and all that they do and stand for. There's a lot of things about them that I dislike. Some of their messaging really grosses me out. Have a lot of issues with some of their what they've done to, like Star Wars, for example. I absolutely detest the way Star Wars has gone since they took over. So, can't say I'm a big fan, and so no, I have not gone to see that movie, nor will I. This one is complete out to the outside. Actually, no, it was out of bounds, I guess. So, a long field goal here for Miami. Again, their offense has really been pretty subpar. A lot of drives just kind of ending in field goals, kind of sputtering out, kicking the field goal, have been the Miami defense. Has been Miami's offense, just not great drives for them. but they don't need it because their offense has had this defense to score for them. And won Jimmy G to give them the ball 7 times, with 3 of them ending in defensive scores. Yeah, exactly, Wendell. It was the defense. It's not that they didn't score any points. The defense accounted for 21 of the 40 points. So the offense has scored. You know, they've scored less than half. They've scored 19 of the 40 points, effectively. But yeah, it's been the defense that has been really the catalyst in this one. They didn't need to score. They win this. You know, the Miami would win on their defensive scoring alone in this game. It would be 21-10. But instead, it's 40-10 with a lot of field goals and a whole bunch of defensive turnovers and some defensive touchdowns. Of course, a lot of those points coming off of turnovers. If not directly, then when the offense got set up with sweet field position out of the deal. 1st and 10 now. Jimmy G in the gun. 3-man rush. 2 double teams, all kinds of time. All day. All day. Finally going downfield. Myers has the ball. No huddle for some unknown reason. A minute left in this travesty of a ball game. At least if you're a Raiders fan. I'm sure if you're a Miami fan, you'd be very happy with this performance from your defense. I'm sure you'd be a little frustrated with the offense getting stymied at times and not really putting up the points. This probably should have been a 60-point scoreline for the Miami Dolphins if their offense was, performing like their defense is. They should have a lot more points than they do. But instead, still a blowout, but a lesser blowout than it could have been. 40-10 for right now. 30 ticks left for the Raiders to change that, and they will. Hunter Renfrow gets into the end zone for a make-it-hurt-less score. But unfortunately for the Raiders, it's not going to be a lot less. It's still going to hurt. Especially one Jimmy Garoppolo. This is the kind of performance that can sink an entire season. I mean, this is not a one-game. This can change your mental game. Unfortunately, it can have that kind of an impact. If you have a game like this, go out there and just, not really trust yourself anymore. Not trust your rhythm, your timing, your receivers, your footwork. And if you don't trust it, makes for a rough rest of your season. This one's certainly not the best, but thankfully here we are in the victory formation. The final is going to be 40-17. It was a doozy. 7 turnovers. 7. All created by one Jimmy Garoppolo. And these Raiders, I think, have a bit of buyer's remorse after picking him up, as that was an atrocious performance. And the Miami's defense went out and just owned this ball game. Yeah, we'll see, Wendell. We're very excited to see where we're at by that time, but we'll hand it over to Phil here as he's going to take us through the stats. So I'll let him do that, and then I'll be back on the mic here with you in just a minute. Well, maybe I'll have him take us through the stats, and maybe he didn't call the stats on this one. So, I guess we'll go through, we already know the worst. Well, actually, here we go. Sounds like he's there, or seems like he's there now, maybe. Yes. Maybe.
All right, here are the stats in this one. Big win for the Dolphins. Jimmy just couldn't stop throwing it to the other team. 41 of 64 for 415, a touchdown and 6 interceptions. Josh Jacobs changed his number to number 8. Still going to struggle on the ground today. 14 of 38. 14 for 38, rather. How about Jacoby Myers? 9 catches, $181. 9 for the rookie tight end, Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. 68 yards, 8 for 35 for Jacobs out of the backfield. 6 for Hunter Renfrow. He has the touchdown. Devontae Adams, just 4 for 34. DeAndre Carter. Austin Hooper, the other tight end. Keelan Cole had 1 as well. Defensively speaking, Divine Diablo, 17. New safety Marcus Epps had 10. 3 sacks today. The rookie Tyree Wilson got 1. Max Crosby got 1. And Divine Diablo got 1. No interceptions. And 1 forced fumble that, of course, went out of bounds. So no dice there. The turnover battle easily won by the Dolphins. 2 today, 26 of 37, $197. Just the 1 touchdown. It was all he needed, really. Mostert, 17 for 84. 2 for 4 for A-Chain, the rookie. Tyreek Hill, 8 for 72. He had the touchdown. Tyler Croft, Tomb Raider Tyler Croft, starting tight end, 7 for 45. Waddle with 5, 3 for A-Chain out of the backfield. Robbie Chosen, no longer Chosen Anderson. He's now Robbie Chosen, according to the roster. 2 for 15. Defensively speaking, Jerome Baker and David Long, both your middle linebackers, 18 tackles apiece. They were both stupendous. 2 sacks for Jalen Phillips, 1 for Christian Wilkins, 1 for David Long. And picks today, 2 for the rookie Cam Smith, the first-round pick, 2 for Xavier Howard, 1 for Ramsey, 1 for Jerome Baker. They did also force a fumble and recover it. Not 1, not 2, but 3 defensive touchdowns. That was really all they needed. All they needed was their defense, and they would have won. This one's going to end 40-17. Kit's going to wrap it up. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Appreciate that. And yes, I mean, we talked about the turnovers. That was a huge deal in this one. I feel like the Dolphins offense didn't even need to get off the bus in this one. They didn't even need to show up. And I'll bet that the Raiders offense wish they hadn't gotten off the bus, especially one Jimmy Garoppolo, as his day was absolutely atrocious, as we've talked about already. There's a look at the rest of the week and the matchups coming up, but certainly appreciate you being on in this one. We'll go ahead and say go Dolphins. And as always, go Browns!